My name's Tom Sullivan. I'm the Pennsylvania Market Manager for First Commonwealth Mortgage. This is my 16th year in the business. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Love this wonderful state, and I really, I'm just excited to be here to teach you guys and show you and cultivate the relationship it takes to get into the house. So let's get started. Pre-qualification, very simply put, is when you contact a loan originator, you talk about everything, as far as how much money you make, where you want to buy a house at. We'll look at your credit. We'll look at the areas you're potentially looking to purchase at, and then we'll take all that information, put it together, and figure out if we can get you pre-qualified. Again, pre-qualification is you tell the story. We don't have underwriters involved. Everything that you tell us is what we utilize to qualify you initially. It's not a formal approval. We do pull credit. We do look at your credit scores to see if it works, we can make things happen for you. There's a difference, truthfully, about pre-qualification and pre-approval. And I want to make you guys understand what that is. So very simply, pre-qualification, verbal information you obtain, we obtain from you, a credit report, we send out a letter pre-qualifying you. Your realtor will be interested in you because we pre-qualified you. A pre-approval is actually not just only taking your verbal information, but we take the paperwork that coincides with it. So if you tell us you make $50,000 a year, we'll want to see the W-2. If you tell us you make $3,000 a month, we'll want to see the pay stubs. And then we actually submit it to an underwriter. So pre-qual, again, is you telling us the story, us pulling credit, initiating a pre-qualification letter. Pre-approval, we collect the documentation to support your story, and we also have the actual credit and the entire documentation reviewed by an underwriter to initiate a potential approval. Once you get pre-qualified or pre-approved, and there's the school for each, either way it goes, your realtor's going to want to talk to you because you're somebody that can get into a house potentially. You're out there with your real estate agent. You find a house. This is where it gets exciting because now you actually formally apply with the loan originator that you pre-qualified with. You call up the loan originator, okay, and what you'll do is explain what you did to get to the process, talk to the real estate agent, explain everything that's going on with the transaction, and review the actual sales contract with the loan originator. The loan originator will review it as well. You will send it in. Application checklist. Again, there's a lot on that screen. It's honestly the big twos is what I call it, okay? You need 2 of everything. I need to know how long you've lived where you've been for 2 years. If you lived in multiple places, I need a full 2-year history. I need 2 pay stubs, at least covering 30 days. I need 2 years of W-2s, 2 years of tax returns. If you're self-employed, I will need business tax returns as well. So make it simple in your mind. 2 of everything gets us to where we need to be. So the more information that we find out about you, it'll give us more options to get you into different loan programs. In some cases, but I will tell you that you got to be careful going to the top tier, because again, that doesn't include your utilities, it doesn't include your cell phone bill, and you got to tie it all together, okay? Just because on paper you qualify for a conventional loan, we got to make sure you're comfortable making that payment. I do not want to see anybody get into a house they can't afford and not be able to, enjoy like simple things such as going out to dinner with the family on Friday. We got to make sure you can afford your payment, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to give you professional advice and give you all the facts and allow you to see the different programs that you may, qualify for. The sweet spot really is 740. So if you have a 740 credit score, you're pretty much set. Doesn't matter if you're 810 or 740, you're going to be in the better tier. But as you drop from 740 to 720 to 700 to 680, there's a huge swing Huge swing in potential interest rate and potential monthly payment. APR is your interest rate plus closing costs. So this is how you find out who's really giving you the best loan. So every single lender has to disclose what the APR is. So someone might be offering a 4% interest rate, but their APR might be 4.35 because there's so many fees to get to that 4% interest rate. So we always want to ask what the APR is, and they have to disclose what that is. APR is so much more important than actual interest rate. So you have your loan you applied for your loan, you delivered all the documentation, you found the house that you wanted, you submitted all the documentation, it goes to the underwriter. So an underwriter reviews all the information, and then what they do is issue a commitment, okay, a mortgage commitment. It's usually called a conditional commitment because there's additional documents that are needed. That conditional commitment, that's all right. That additional commitment will basically get you to the situation where, these are the final items needed to get your loan approved. You'll have a processor that's involved in the situation. You'll have the loan officer involved in the situation so we can explain it to you to get the information we need to get you into a final approval process. You'll receive disclosures. You'll receive some disclosures that'll go over the loan terms of your, go over everything you need, all the details. I will tell you right now, things have changed dramatically since I bought a house, my first house 10, 12 years ago. Get your disclosures in as soon as possible. There's time clocks that start or stop if you don't get the loan documents in. You got to get them in to get to the closing table. They were put in place basically to protect you, the consumer, because they want you to have 3 days to review some documentation. They want to make sure you're doing everything the right way. But to be honest with you, in some cases it could slow or delay the process. So we have to communicate with the loan officer. You have to understand we're under a time crunch to get you to the closing table. So at this point, you do what you're supposed to. You get the documentation in. We get everything moving. We get the loan submitted to the underwriter with the final conditions that I explained, any final documentation. We're good to go. You're going to get something called a closing disclosure. It's going to give you the itemized amount that you may need to bring to closing. You'll have to have a certified cashier's check. You'll have that check delivered at the closing table. Closing is usually about a 30 to 45-minute process. Your loan originator will be there so he or she can help answer questions. So the first one's simple, right? You think. So do not change jobs or become self-employed, okay? Do not buy a new vehicle unless you plan to live in it. Do not buy furniture before you buy your house. Do not co-sign on anything for anyone. Do not spend what you saved with your down payment. Do not use your credit cards and let your payments fall behind. If you follow the procedures, if you obtain the documentation we ask you for, you keep everything simple. I know I was joking around, but keep everything simple. And this process, it's not hard. It's not a hard process. It really isn't.